Hey everybody, welcome to A Company of Fools, our Monday night D&D stream. My name is Mark. I am the Dungeon Master tonight. I just wanted to make a couple of quick announcements. The first is that we are now sponsored by Farbo Co. They are a Lancaster local game store that is helping us out by giving us some neat things to give away as prizes. We are currently running a contest. If you look down in the panels, you'll find a little box to share the stream with people that you know and love out on social media. There is a link there that you can copy and paste. It's keyed into your username on Twitch, and there's a leaderboard that shows who gets the most new viewers to come on in, and whoever brings in the most viewers at the end of the month is going to get a mystery box of minis courtesy of Farbo. It's a $15 value, and yeah, they'll be shipped right to your door. So go ahead, share the stream, get some people in here. Also, the stream is also always brought to you by our patrons and our subscribers. So thank you very much for allowing us to do what we do and for helping us to do that. Without further ado, I'll let the cast and crew of the Phoenix Legion go ahead and introduce themselves and their characters.
Hey guys, my name is John. I play the mastermind rogue known as Broker.
Hi guys, my name is Dio. I play the arcane trickster Sparks.
I'm Stu. I'm playing the half-orc paladin Gaz, Oath of Redemption.
And I'm Brett. I'm playing Lukash, who is a Echo Knight fighter.
And our resident druid and commander of the Legion, Star, played by Ares, is unable to be with us again this week, but she will be returning next week. Until then, Gaz has been given over command of the Legion, as Star has seemingly gone off for some measure of importance. She hasn't said why or how she has gone, but the sword has been given into the hands of Gaz. When we last left off, the group of you had had a serious conversation in the household of the Amberglows, Spark's parents, about the dragon, about the condition of the Legion, about what steps to take next, and had prepared to kind of embark on the next step of your journey, discussing how you were going to get to Grovhaire and who was going to go and when. As of right now, you have spent a little bit of time in Ravenreach. Captain Card and Spark's parents have come to an agreement in regards to the goods and services and his transporting of them, that he would get a commission for delivering their wares to different parts of Orden that he sails to, as well as being able to purchase certain goods at a lower cost in order to sell them in the Halrian Desert. They've also agreed to his desire to commission basically holds of holding, trunks that can be installed within his sand skiffs that could hold a greater capacity than he would otherwise be able to. They will take some time to build, possibly months, but your mother has agreed, Spark's mother has agreed to begin building such items. At the same time, Lukash has expressed a desire to join the Legion and journey with you to Grovhaire. And so, as we pick up, it has been a couple of days within the city. Today is Hexen the 4th. In the midst of the celebration of Light, the Festival of Ord, Ravenreach has a muted celebration of the God of Light, as its primary worship is that of Thondra. However, there have been small decor and celebrations throughout the city. It is a bright and clear morning, and you stand upon the deck of Captain Card's skiff, the Devil's Spade. And in spite of Star's absence, knowing that command is in your hands, Gaz, you prepare to induct Lukash as a member of the Phoenix Legion. Those men that are able to still have some sense of dress wardrobe have donned them for the knighting of a new member. Lukash is not the only one. At least 3 of the young men in the alley rats who have been spending the last couple of days helping you repair the Amberglow's apothecary have decided to travel with you. They're young men. They are inexperienced, but they have some tricks up their sleeve. And at the point that the Legion is in right now, you're happy to have every man who's willing to swear the oaths. And so I'll leave it to you guys as you kind of stand at the head of the ship with these inductees before you.
So I'm inducting them?
You are inducting them. I gave you the oaths. I'll let you have a little narrative control of the actual process or ceremony or pomp and
How
circumstances.
many do we have?
You have Lukash, and you have 3 of the young, like 16-year-old members of Chris's gang there as well.
My thanks to you for deciding to join in with the League.
Thank you for offering me the position.
I'm assuming, like,
they each respond in kind, thanking you for the opportunity to serve. I'm sorry, you were assuming what?
that's what I was gonna say. Like, I'm assuming everyone else kind of mutters about the same.
Yes.
Repeat after me. I swear my life and honor to the throne of Grovhaire. I swear my faithful service to the kingdom, the throne, and the...
Lukash looks very uncomfortable. I don't think he's ever done anything this, like, formal. The last group that he worked with definitely had a swear-in or whatever, but he grew up with them, so... yeah, he'll repeat after you every time he says, but abashedly and, like, a little quietly.
I shall keep my honor and my word. I shall defend those who cannot themselves defend. I shall shun cruelty and give mercy when mercy is begged by my enemies. I shall uphold the virtues of bravery, kindness, generosity, forgiveness, and honor. I shall put the needs of the throne and the Legion before personal gain. I shall leave behind all past allegiances and serve with loyalty and truth. I kneel as a humble servant of the crown and rise anew as a knight of the Phoenix Legion.
Not to undermine the gravitas of the moment, but those are good. I like those as a good set of rules you guys got.
Gaz just kind of smirks and, well, I agree with that.
They arise, and let me just Stu, or Gaz, you. There is one more part of the induction, and that is the choosing of a name. As each new member of the Legion comes in, they are given a new name as they arise. A name that is for the Legion from the time that they begin their service till the time that it ends. This is the name by which they are to be known, as they, again, have given up their past allegiances, have knelt before the crown in service, and have arisen anew.
I think Gaz would have had the foresight to give them the heads up beforehand because he got caught a little flat-footed on that.
Yeah, I do have an idea. But would you mind if we like nipped back to it a little bit later on? I'm still kind of finalizing it a little bit. I've been thinking about it, but I will admit, I did forget about it. 100%. So give me a minute. I have an idea for it, but I'm just going to kind of figure out what exactly I want it to be.
Sure.
Yeah, that's fine.
Just a little bit.
There's that moment where each of the inductees shares their new name as they arise with you, the commander. The ceremony is as you would expect a knighting ceremony to go. The inductees kneel as they swear the oaths, are knighted with the sword, and arise sharing their new name. One of the young teens rises and shares his name as Whiskers. Another arises and shares his name as Paws. And another arises and addresses his new name as Squints. They'll need to be assigned to squads as well. Not now, but it will need to be done. Something that's been discussed over the last couple of days is what's going to happen with the men that you have left, as the wings are so depleted that they barely have enough men to even be considered. Some of them barely have even enough men to be considered a pinion, never mind a wing. And of the once 10 wings that had launched into the desert, you have 4 now. Technically 5, but one has no captain at their head. And each wing the wings are lopsided. You have 4 captains, you have 1 wing without a captain, and you have 4 other wings that don't have exactly the same amount of men in each of them. Some are over 100 and some are as small as 50 or less. You've got a lot of talking to do, a lot of deciding to do. You've promised the men some shore leave, and they've had a couple of days now. Not the full 3 to a week that you've discussed, but they've had a few. A discussion of when to leave and who's going has come up several times. As you step down the pilot deck of the ship with the new inductees, you spot Sparks, Gaz, and you know there's a conversation that has needed to be had for a couple of days now.
Yeah, I'll kind of amble over to Sparks and ask if she has a bit of time to talk.
Yeah, I think I think it's time for us to talk. I I don't want to talk in any public place. Will you mind coming to my house? We need something to discuss, and probably Silver should be there too. We can discuss whatever you want to discuss us first, and then what I want to discuss, I can just summon Silver or something. But it's up to you. I it's up to you, Commander.
Would you be okay talking in Captain Card's quarters? Or would you prefer your parents' house?
I I I don't know. I'm
Let's go to your parents' house. You'll be more comfortable there, I think.
What rank are you giving Lukash?
What rank is Silver?
Silver is
junior officer.
he's a
He's
junior
a
officer.
lieutenant, I think.
Yeah, Silver is a lieutenant. So the ranks are commander, and then the lieutenant commander, who has the same functions as the captains, mostly, but is also the second in command of the Legion, and is kind of almost like their I don't want to say field commander, but it kind of is the field commander. Under the captains are their lieutenants, and Silver would be a lieutenant. Under the lieutenants are sergeants, and they're in charge of individual squads of troops. Kind of in between the lieutenants and the sergeants are the second lieutenants. They're like a sidestep almost rank, and they are in charge of like specialized squads of troops when you have them. So like if you had a unit of cavalry, whatever officer was in charge of that cavalry would be a second lieutenant who would report to one of the captains. They kind of fall sideways in the chain of command almost. So that's anyway. The long story short, Silver is a lieutenant. So is that what Lukash would be as well?
That's what I'm thinking, yeah.
Okay.
Especially with that particular battlefield display against the werewolf. At least a sergeant, at most a lieutenant.
I would say that he would put his while we were probably having a discussion at some point a little bit more in depth about what it is that Lukash can offer to the Legion. Just sitting down and being like, what's your skill set? What do you think you can bring to the table? Yada, yada, yada. I think he would kind of say he's used to commanding or at least leading small groups of people, or he has from time to time coordinated between several small groups. And his main experience is like straight up hand to hand, face to face.
So sounds like a sergeant would be a good fit for him. At least at the moment.
Okay.
And honestly, if no one else has objections, I was thinking promote Silver to
To captain?
Or at least acting captain of either... Yeah, of my legion currently, but he'd be assuming Ares' legion if she comes... Yeah, if she comes back and resumes being the
commander.
I think Lukesh would push to be a little bit higher than sergeant.
Okay.
That's like essentially the bottom of the barrel.
Okay, so lieutenant then.
I think lieutenant works.
My only concern for Silver being a lieutenant, being a captain, is, as I stated, we already have 2 captains that are rogues. And it depends how the wings are functioning, because if the wings function depending on like cavalry, or like all of your men probably are fighters, I don't think we need another rogue captain, or do we?
Well, I think that so the wings are not necessarily individual types of units. Like
Okay.
a wing consists of like a wing is a battalion of troops, right? It's multiple it's made up of multiple smaller units, right? So you might have a specialized unit within your wing, but you wouldn't have like 1,000 rogues under a rogue commander, or a rogue captain. Like it would be more like it'd be more like if you needed a specialized unit of just scouts, then you would have a Talon within your wing that was just for scouting. But for the most part, most of the soldiers are just like the common soldier you would get out of the PHB, right? Like they're literally like the NPC soldier stat block. They're not specialized in any specific area.
And besides that, like Gaz's forces, they're down to 25 people.
Yes. Yes, they are.
So, yeah.
Well, then I have no objections. I would like to speak to him, though, and congratulate him and probably cry a little bit. Not too much. But yeah, Silver
Would that have been in the intervening 2 days then?
Or maybe we can talk about it. We probably will have the Lucas induction first, and then also
promotions at the same time.
Yeah, a promotion ceremony at the same time, right?
Yeah.
An induction ceremony and promotion ceremony at the same time. So if you are promoting him to captain, that could be a part of the ceremony as well.
Yeah, that'll work.
Mm-hmm.
But now me and Sparks need to have a little chit chat.
Yes, you do.
I think we head to my parents' house, and I will also tell Silver to be there, just so I can talk to him, like just so I can just call him when I need to.
Okay. Silver, you tell Silver that you need him to come to your parents' house as well, and he smirks and says, "Well, Sparks, you can't really order me around anymore."
Oh, after 2, you finally called me by my name. Oh, I feel so good. This feels so good. I'm so proud of you, Silver. I'm so proud. I know I cannot order you around anymore, but it's from captain to captain. I need to talk to you. I need to talk first with the commander, but there's probably going to be a part of the conversation that you might need to be there for. So if you can just come
He
around and
he nods and says, "I have information that I think will be important uh, for the commander to hear, as it is. So I'm glad to go with you."
I wonder how long the hairs on the back of my neck will stiffen whenever I hear Commander pointed at.
Every time, it never sits well with you.
But yeah, he's welcome to come along.
Sure. You guys head to Spark's parents' house. At the same time, Broker and Lukash, you're still at the ship. There's a little bit of a celebration for the promotions and for also the inductions. They've broken out. Captain Card has broken out a couple of bottles of wine and a barrel of ale to share amongst the crew. And of course, the men of the Legion are welcome to it as well.
All right. I will grab a drink, walk over to Lakash and the 3 other initiates, and just be like, "Well, congratulations."
Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. I am looking forward to it. Or do you have any tips, tricks, rules of the?
I think you'll be fine with what you're doing now. Just the way I see it, everybody here just has something special that they can all bring. So just keep on doing what you're doing.
All right, I will do my very best. Hey, Broker.
Yeah.
You want to get kind of drunk with me?
Why not?
Yeah, there we go. And Lukash is gonna tie one on, not to like the sloppy point, because I think this is the first time he's kind of around people that he's going to be working with for a while, but he is definitely going to cut loose a little bit.
Yep.
That's awesome. And Captain Card kind of wanders over to the two of you, and he's got a bottle of wine in his hand that he's been drinking from. And if either of you have an empty glass when he comes over, he just automatically pours some wine into the glass and will kind of throw his arm around whichever of you seems most comfortable with the idea. You know, I have not been around the Legion for very long, but I must say, your men, they know how to both hold their liquor and also enjoy it.
Yeah, they seem like a fun party to me.
Oh, man. Oh, hey, do you think Topaz would mind a drink?
Topaz has not touched alcohol in a very, very long time. He swears off it because he believes that it makes him impure.
Ah.
I'm just kidding. He would love a drink.
Oh, okay. I'll take an extra cup and I'll try to walk my way to the Topaz's door. It's like, Kaz, you should meet him. You want to come?
Yeah, I would love to. I should probably meet as many people as I can, I think.
All right. And so we're just gonna go over to Topaz.
Okay. You head to Topaz's room and knock, and he welcomes you in. Come in, come in.
Hey, it's good to see you again.
Ah, yes, it's good to smell you as well.
Mm.
You've brought a friend to my rooms.
Yeah, this is the cash.
It is a pleasure to meet you. And what is Topaz's deal? What does he look like? What's going on with him?
Topaz is an earth Ganassi. He is very old, but not frail looking. He is old and wiry with like corded, leathery muscle, very thin, like whip thin. Um, he sits on a cot with his legs crossed uh, in a yogi style. He wears very loose brown clothing that kind of hangs off of his thin frame. He has a long, blonde going white beard. He has tribal tattoos all over his ruddy skin. And there seems to be an ever present, like, falling of sand coming off of his form as he moves. He's blind, and his eyes are kind of this opaque, almost opalescent appearance. He has a very kindly smile when he does smile, but he gives off an air of. He gives off this air of being more than what he seems, and you almost feel a sense of reverence and awe in his presence. He has a strange and powerful connection to the natural world, and it is palpable when you enter into his quarters. Please, please sit. Join me. Join me. It is always a pleasure to have friends visit. Not as I've told Broker here. Not many of the crew find time to visit old Topaz. They find me. Well, sailors are very, very superstitious.
Yeah, it is an honor to meet you. Thank you for having me here.
Oh yeah, Topaz. And I kind of put a drink in his hand. And this is for you.
He, you are celebrating.
Yep.
I heard there was something to be celebrated today.
Yes. Oh, go ahead.
He holds the cup that you hand him in both hands and takes a long swig of it.
That's right. The cashier just got initiated into the Legion.
Topaz smiles at Lukash, oddly knowing exactly where Lukash is sitting down. And with a deep smile, he says, "My condolences on losing your life. And gaining another. Congratulations. I hope that you are happy with your choice to serve."
I expect that I will be. And thank you. I feel like every time somebody makes a serious life decision, they lose one life and start another. It's kind of the way of things.
That is a wise way of thinking. A door has closed on your life, I sense.
Maybe. But I know where it's located if I need to find it again.
That is very good. He takes another long swig of the liquid and looks over the two of you, and with blind eyes, they stop upon Broker. "Did you bring your cards? I would like to win some more money off of you."
I brought him, but not this time.
Ah.
I'm gonna keep my money this time. Thank you very much.
Did you only...
You want to play a game of dice? Lukash rattles his dice a little.
I will warn you. I always roll the highest numbers.
Why is that?
He shrugs. An old man has his tricks. I am very lucky
Maybe I'll. No, you know what? I'm good. Let's just drink and have fun.
I will pull out my cards and I'll say, if you want to play, we can play.
You seem to have come here. Well, I should say, did you come here only to introduce me to your newest member, or did you have something on the mind, child?
If I'm being honest, it was more of just a celebration.
Well
Figured
then,
you could join us.
yes. Break out the cards and let us play. Oh, young Lukash. Did you not... Were you not given a new name?
I was. Honestly, I think that's the part that sticks in my craw the most. I like my name. I like who I am. I don't really feel obliged to change it. I did pick a new name, Spectre. But yeah, that's the part I'm gonna have the hardest time.
He nods. You have... I do not assume to know the mind of the Legion or its practices. But I know that men who fight side by side, there is a brotherhood among them. Perhaps think not that you are losing your name and who you are, but thinks perhaps that this new name is a name to connect you closely with a new brotherhood of those who you will fight side by side with. A name for just you and them. But I am an old man, and what do I know?
Yeah, I get it. Like nickname, it makes sense. I don't know. It's the first time for me. I appreciate the advice.
Take an old man's words for what they are, the babbling of a strange creature in a little room.
Really, isn't that what anybody talking in a room is?
Deal the cards, broker. I want to
All
win
right,
some
you
money.
got it.
And then, in the meantime, you have Gaz and Sparks. You enter into the home of the Amber Glows. Your parents are down in the apothecary and the workshop, finishing off some of the final cleaning that needed to happen after the break-in, leaving you the house.
Well,
Did you have
yes.
Silver? I'm sorry. Did you still have Silver stay down in the shop, or is he up in the house just waiting for you or the time that you need to speak to him?
I will probably. He will probably be in the house.
Okay.
So before we start, do you guys need anything like water, drink, tea?
A glass of water will be fine by me.
Okay. I'll go and pour a little bit of water. Silver, are you okay?
I'm fine, Sparks. I just wish I was back having some of those drinks. Guess I'm just gonna have to hang out here and
They'll
wait
save
for
one
my
for
turn. Oh,
I'm
yes,
so
yes,
sorry.
Commander.
I'm so sorry. I'll make it up to you. I'm so sorry, but it's this conversation. It was kind of long coming.
Man, now that I get to mess with you, it's gonna be so fun. He kind of smirks.
Oh my gosh, Silver, have you always been evil? And I didn't notice. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm okay. Well. Silver, stay here in the kitchen. Um. Commander, let's go to my room.
Well, at least you got me a drink first.
Yes.
I apologize,
What?
Sparks. Just had to.
What?
I had to make a joke like.
Guys, please. This is very stressful for me right now.
That's why I was trying to lighten it. Didn't realize it'd have the opposite effect.
Yes. Okay. I wish I could drink. Okay. Let's go. Yes, let's go.
All right.
Okay. So, we enter my room, and what you will see is that the room is almost divided by two, in the sense that one part is completely and immaculate organized, so organized that you can even see a small tape measure in one of the shelves. There's one wall full of shelves, books, scrolls. There's a small desk. There's a window, and there's some blueprints of stuff, but everything is completely and utterly organized, almost to an obsessive level. And the other part is a mess. Everything that is personal, clothes, and the bed, it's like something exploded. There's the bed, and on top of the bed, there's like five, well, 5 inches of cushions and plushies. There's a collection of dragons plushies, and the cushions look like golden coins. And you can see that in one corner there's like a part of a costume, like some kind of bat wings, like blue bat wings. And one of the walls that doesn't have any shelves, there's like a mural there of a strange place, of buildings that you have never seen architecture, and there's some volcanoes in the distance. And I will give you a chair, and I will close the door, and I will say, okay, so you wanted to talk. You probably want to chew me up for something, so let's hear it before I talk.
Gaz just kind of looks over at the stuffed animals, and I bet you never expected to meet a dragon in your life.
It was always my dream. Like it was always my dream to be able to see dragons. It's I like them very much. They're really pretty.
Well, kind of wish it weren't such a nightmare. Would have been interesting. Better circumstances, I suppose.
Right? Like, I mean, just imagine the kind of knowledge that they have. Like, they used to have a kingdom. We don't know what happened to it. Like, but the all the things that they have seen and the knowledge they can give us, I I I want I would really like to talk to them and just figure it out what happened.
Well, hopefully the books that Lukash, or I suppose Spectre now, but hopefully the book Spectre brought will shed some.
Yeah, I've been reading a little bit.
But as for the talk,
okay. Yes.
Well, seeing as I'm acting commander, out of curiosity, what brought you to the?
Oh, we're going directly to that. I don't know how to answer that. Is there any other question that you have?
Well, admittedly, I was hoping that you would open up because I was going to open up in turn. But I suppose I'll just open up in turn. The reason I'm with the Legion is that I'm not sure if you... Well, I entered low level, but I was actually found out in the desert. He kind of runs his tongue over his right tusk, which has been broken. He's filed it down over the years. But, well, I actually approached an orcish tribe to try doing with them what I'm doing right now with. Suffice to say, they were less than impressed. And it's only because of the Phoenix Legion that I'm alive.
Okay.
But beyond that, your reaction with the night your parents were...
Yes.
Thing is, I think I mentioned at the time that I understood, even if I didn't approve.
Yeah, I
Well, there's a reason that I understood. My parents. My father was a bard, and he got captured by an orcish. And he managed to seduce my mother, as bards are kind of notorious for doing, I suppose. But they've been happily married ever since. She actually helped smuggle him out of the cave. And they settled down somewhere in the mountains. And raised me and my brother there. And then one night, we hear a big commotion outside. My parents try and make sure that me and my brother are still asleep while they go out and deal with it. Well, that's also why I maybe was a little distrustful with Ares. Because it was a group of elves from a nearby village that had suffered an orc raid. They were convinced that my mother had a hand in it. Thankfully, my father managed to keep them at bay long enough for the actual city, the watch to show up and disperse the... But the rage I felt at the idea that they would take my mother from me. And it was to the point that my parents couldn't even calm me down and talk me out of it. I wound up getting lost in the mountains trying to get to their... And that's when I stumbled on a forgotten shrine. I'm sure you've heard me talk about Sarenrae before.
yes.
Well, that's when I met the guy. And she actually put me on the path I'm on now, where I'm essentially trying to stop war between my orcish half and human half. Suffice to say, that's a bit of a tall order, but it's also one that, well, counter to the vows, I have not forgotten that.
It's a very noble cause. And I
Well,
admire you for that.
the reason I bring that up, though, is that one of the darkest moments of my life led directly to one of the brightest. And I want you to try keeping that in mind in regards to all things.
Oh boy. Okay. I okay. I how can I explain this? I thank you for opening up to me. I appreciate that. It's I yes, I when I saw my parents gone, something broke, kind of. It
Yeah,
cannot I cannot explain like this.
You no need to explain. I know precisely how.
I know I don't think you get it, but I don't think you get it, guys. I I think I will have to explain the whole thing. I'm. Is there anything else you want to tell me before I call Silver?
Well, I am curious as to when I tried healing you, curing the poison, I've never seen you that panicked. I've seen you high strung before. That honestly is a bit of your default, it seems. But never that panicked.
Yes. Well, uh, uh, okay. Give me 1 second. This also has to do with, well, give me 1 second. And I will go and call Silver in.
Silver will come in. Would we be more comfortable out here in the kitchen? There's three of us, and I don't know. There's
Not
chairs
much
there.
room.
There's chairs there.
Okay. Well, in the kitchen there's knives, and actually I was going to ask you guys to please leave your weapons outside the room, and I was going to ask, well, in the kitchen there's multiple ways to get out if I need to get out. Um, sure, the kitchen is fine. Sure.
Silver looks a little confused.
As does Gasp. I think they probably exchanged very confused looks.
Yeah,
like,
that's
okay, do you
exactly
know
what
something about?
happened.
Okay. Let's go to the kitchen.
Sparks, we've both known you for a long time now, and I doubt that you have to worry about weapons and escaping?
Haha. Sure. You have known me for yes. Sure, you have known me. Have known of me. Have knowledge of me. Sure. Okay. So, I will go and walk to the kitchen, and we'll start just pacing up and down. And okay, well, first of all, there's something I need from you both. I need to swear to me an oath that you will not speak of this to anyone, like anyone.
My lips are sealed.
I look to Gas.
As are mine.
For Seren Ray, do you swear for Seren Ray?
I swear.
Okay. Okay. Well, there's. Okay. There's a couple of things that you need to understand. Um. Now that you're a commander, I mean, I know I should have. It's kind of my fault, and it's not. Um. This kind of knowledge you should have to have it before, but a lot of things happen in between, and I should have told you before, but I kind of put it off because it's not something I like to discuss, and I always. Okay, let's start from the beginning. There's a couple of things you need to know. Probably you already know this, but I have trust issues. Like very heavy trust issues.
Which I'll admit I'm a little surprised by, given how your parents are. They seem to be
Yes.
rather open and inviting.
I trust my parents with my life, and they are the world to me. But there's other thing that you need to know is that everything I have done and every single decision that I have made is to keep them safe and make them proud. That's my priority. The other thing that you need to know is that the Legion kind of has a secret, and it started almost 12 years ago. Um, when 12 years ago, when the Legion came and tried to bring my, well, suggest to my parents that if they wanted to return, um, I I I told them that I will go in their place. Um, they didn't want to go, but I could sense that at least Dad was a little bit torn about it, and I wanted to reassure them that I will be part of the Legion, and to keep them safe, and so they could be proud, and they will be a little bit more relaxed about it, and not so stressed about it, and I took their place. um I told the commander that I it was a good idea for me to go instead of my parents, because, well, it's just one person instead of two, so it's less costly, and I know what my parents know, so if he will get uh, all two packages in one. So he agreed, but then my parents and the commander have to have a talk, and the talk it's basically the commander and everyone that's been part of the talk for us have to tour to keep this secret, and it involves me, and so far they've been keeping it, and the only ones who are still alive and know about it is Broker and Star. I thought that at one point when you became captain, uh, the commander was going to um, strongly suggest to me to have the talk with you. He never did, probably because, well, it's not always have had good results, and one of the reasons probably that I raised up in rank, being how I am and how I am, is because of this. Probably wanted to keep an eye, and well, it's people react in different ways. I know for for what I know that you, Silver, you're going to not be too, you're going to probably be okay. Yes, you probably are also going to be okay with it, but there's been some other instances in which it hasn't gone okay, even though I have known persons for a while, and they all been nice people up to a point, and they're always noble and such, and I would have sometimes thought that they will never react that way, but they do, and well, people is people, and um, usually in my experience, people, when they know this, that they react instinctively, and the instinct is usually either fight or flight. That's usually what happens. The only two instances in which nothing bad happened was with Star and Broker, and well, the commander too. He kind of he was, for all his fault, he was really nice about it, and thanks to him, and is one of the only reasons I thank a chain of command, he was able to keep me safe. And well, the I love my parents. They raised me up in a nice home. They gave me love and kindness, and they were always kind to me, and they never treat me badly. And they saw me as as me, not as anything else. And I'm kind of tearing up. I'm sorry. I 22 years ago, they were they 22 years ago. They found they stumbled upon some slavers in the coast, and they fought slavers, and there was only one slave amidst them, and that was me. And
If you're worried,
they
we're gonna think differently of you, knowing that you're an adopted slave. That's crazy, Sparks. Come
it,
on.
it's not because it's not because um
How old were you?
because I was two, but that but that they found it wasn't it wasn't a not it was not a human slave.
What?
You
I
just said that they found you.
I I'm not human.
I just kind of exchanged a look with the tiefling at my right.
Yeah, and the tiefling at your right gives the half orc a long, hard look, like, and he looks back at Sparks and says, "Okay, neither am I. Neither is he. Sorry, Commander.
Where's my mother?
Nor is
Well, someone down your family tree anyway.
nor is Commander Star. I I don't even think
When the
Broker is human.
Although, well, we did hear that Ravenreach is a little iffy on that sort of thing.
Is Broker human? I've never asked him.
To my knowledge, he is.
he's half human, half elf.
Oh,
It's
he has the
it's
ears well.
yes, but you see, when people see you, they know what you are.
Yeah, I noticed how your neighbor's expression shifted a little bit when I took off my helmet. That
Yes, but
And
they,
I've
they
been wearing this ridiculous cap around town because if anybody saw my horns, apparently I would be in grave danger.
actually, come to think of it, I've got to get Urag out of the city to play a little bit. You were saying Sparks. Sorry.
it's okay. I not it's okay.
So are you a half elf? Do you hide the ears
No.
just as well?
No,
Half orc that has a lighter skin tone.
I'm a dragonborn.
Silver smiles. I thought the jokes were. I thought I was the one, pulling your leg.
I will go to Silver
She's
and I will touch his face, and then
His eyes
step back.
widen, not in like fear, but in like surprise that your hand doesn't feel like a human hand. Like he feels the scales and the claws and is just kind of like, okay.
You are the only one that I know of that has seen someone like me. I've been hiding for years. I I
How?
I I am the adopted daughter of two artificers, Silver. The cap that the shapeshifter took from me is what's been keeping me looking like this.
Well, that
And
explains a little something. That
I I I every time usually when when this knowledge has to be shared, it's people do react like you guys. They don't understand it or don't see it. And I just let it slide. And if something happens, well, they were warned. But it's not something I don't like to show anyone how I look like. The only other person in the Legion that actually has saw me is Star. And if I have had my way, if I hadn't been unconscious, I will never ever had let her see me. I don't like how people look at me when I'm me. Um,
Jesus,
the
no wonder you trust very hard.
it's gas. The look that my neighbors gave you is nothing compared to that looks I have seen in other people when they see me. And I will not show you how I look because I don't want to see that look in my friends, and it will break my heart if you look at me differently. So
Silver
that
Silver holds up his hand um to Sparks. Um Commander, I apologize. I have been speaking out of turn without requesting the permission to do so.
This is a person-to-person matter. No need.
He nods.
I think it's a symbol of just how much she trusts you in particular. I think with me it's a bit more of an obligation, I'll admit.
He nods again. Sparks. My entire family has spent their entire life being hunted. I just got word that one of my siblings was murdered. Likely murdered, but definitely dead. Because of who we are, what we are. Believe me, I understand exactly what you mean when you talk about the looks that people give you. My mother was banished from this plane of existence because of what she was. I think Commander Gaz and
Well, I let her. I know exactly what she's going through, given what I explained to her in the. Well, not exactly, I'll admit.
I think it's safe to say that you wouldn't get any kind of reaction like that from either of us. I'm not going to tell anybody because I know that's what you want. But I know what it's like to be hated for who I am and for what I am. And I could have hidden myself a long time ago too. Maybe. If I had your resources, maybe I would have. But to speak plainly, fuck them. If anybody gives me a look like that, well, let's say I've had enough of those looks in my life.
I'll agree with your sentiment, Captain, but I can understand why Sparks would be reluctant, especially... How long have you had that cap?
Long enough, Cass. I wish I could. There was a moment in my life when I was very young that I had to make a choice to fight or flight, but fighting was never an option for me. I, if I had fought, then there would have been consequences. My parents would have suffered those consequences, and I couldn't, I couldn't because of me being selfish and trying to stand up, and the the business could have suffered, and they could have suffered. They, of course, they will never have blamed me for anything at all, but I would have felt guilty, and I um I it's I never ever seen anyone like me in the continent. I never look at another dragonborn. I you're the only one that you and Captain Card are the only ones I know that have seen a dragonborn, and I in I don't know who I am. Honestly, I don't drink because I don't know if I can drink. Um, one time I I felt so bad about eating meat because the poor animals that I try to be stop eating any type of meat, and in 2 days I was unable to move. I was very lethargic, and we found out that I need to eat meat. So there's so many things I don't know, and I like I don't know who I am or who I was or what can I do. Simple things like eating meat and or drinking wine. I've been kind of alone, and my parents try their best, and I love them for that. And I know that you think that that that
Sparks,
yes.
hopefully we'll be able to find you some answers to that in those tomes that Spectre brought.
Perhaps.
And I suppose it does explain the plushies in your bedroom.
Yes, actually, yes and no. The plushies are there because I cannot sleep in a well. When I was little, I couldn't sleep in a regular bed. I had um lots of nightmares when of the time when I was with the slavers, and
Guess just
my
kind of bursts out laughing at this point, finally connecting the dots. There were a bunch of coins in the bed, weren't
yes, I used to I it has two functions that bed. I when because of I have me having nightmares, my horns sometimes got stuck in the mattress and I couldn't move, and that scared me a lot. So now, um, the plushies and everything, I sleep on top of them, and if something gets stuck in my horns, I at least able to move. And the other reason is I I I I, I used to play that I was dragon, and that was my horse.
Yeah, I guess it connected the dots just before that, so he was laughing as
uh,
she's explaining.
so all right, I wasn't in the cave, right? But you, when the dragon showed up at that battle, that was incredible and terrifying. Like my mother always told us that the dragons made the rain, and I was in awe. I can't even imagine what you were going through when you saw that thing.
Probably just amplified to the nth degree.
So, um, when you feel comfortable, if you ever do, I would like to know what you look like because, like you said, I've seen one before and it was amazing. And to see a Dragonborn again would be just incredible.
And I'd like to see one for the first time, admittedly.
But
You,
I don't want you to feel
you,
like a spectacle either. Like, if you don't want to, you are you. You are Captain Sparks. And in my opinion, you will always be Captain Sparks. And even though we're equals now and I can give you a hard time, I would never ever think of disrespecting you. You and I are captains, and you're part of the Legion. You're part of my family, and you always will be.
So, does this mean every time I've seen you cast anything involving fire that it was actually, like, breathing?
no, I can tell you something. I don't breathe fire. I wish I did, but I'm
Well, then
blue.
again, neither did that one, I don't think.
No, I'm look. I'm If you want to have an idea, I'm a smaller, lamer version of Thundermaw. My skin is a little bit bluish. I can breathe lighting because I'm blue. Kind of, sort of.
Is that how
That
that
had
works?
that had
Yes,
to have been particularly awkward.
it. That's why I told her that she looked beautiful because in my eyes she does.
Have you ever tried sending a sorry, out of character, how far are the Dragonborn?
They're pretty. They're not close.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's not actually where they are in relation to the
No, that's
world.
why there's that borderline on the.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
only just picked up on that one.
yeah, yeah. That's not actually where they are. They're probably.
About as far as Hawaii.
Yes. Yep, I would say that's accurate. As far as Hawaii is from like California, I guess.
Well, I suppose if you ask Captain Card, he might know of a way to get to the Dragonborn Isle.
I asked him. There's no way to get into the islands. There's no way to get word into the islands. It's it's as far as I know just one way from there
Obvious,
to here.
obviously, someone did at some point then. Either that or your parents were leaving the island for some reason. But yeah, that's enough conjecture, I think.
But my parents, the only thing I can remember is we were sailing and I think we were going through the islands. I don't remember well. My father was golden and my mother was blue, and then then they came and my mom asked me to hide, and then I remember the screams and the fire and somebody coming to get me, and I
You don't have to relive that.
thank you.
Should if
Although, better memory than I've got from a 2-year-old, I can't even remember like what my favorite food at that age.
We age differently. For I was 2 in my age, but for intents and purposes for you, I will have been like 6.
interesting. That's really interesting. I if you don't mind me saying, I I don't know about the rest of the men, but I would never you'll never see me gawk at your appearance if you ever decide to share who you are.
Do you really think I look that Dragonborns look amazing. You.
The way that probably the way that you marveled at that dragon, which personally I was amazed by, but was also terrified of, because it was shooting lightning down at my family, being the Legion. If everything that they've said is true about what Dragonborn are like, the scales and the regal appearance, it's the stuff of legends, man. It's the stuff of legends.
I smiled shyly at him and said, "Thank you." But no one has said anything like that to me, so thank you. But thank you.
I mean, everybody tells these stories about dragons, and everything that I've heard about them is how dangerous and terrifying they are, but that's not how my mother spoke of them. Not ever.
Really? What did he share? Did he share anything like why did they leave? Why what happened?
Oh, well, we were told a lot of stories and fables and legends about dragons, and about how sometimes they would go to people in disguise to see if they were good or not, and would trick them into thinking that they were just humble beggars, when in actuality they were powerful dragons. And if the person did good by them, they would reward them, and if they did bad by them, then the dragon would devour them whole. My mother always told us that rain was the dragons crying, that they were up there somewhere watching over all of us, and that when they saw the things in the world that brought them joy or brought them sadness, that their tears would wash down over us.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, well, she was a romantic.
And I'm back. Sorry, parents popped over.
Commander, I don't mean to step on anyone's toes, but I've heard from one of my siblings recently, and it seems that there's trouble. Well,
Where are you from originally?
oh, we're from all over. We had to split up at a very young age to stay safe. My father's in prison. I think I have a sibling in prison as well.
But where's the trouble then? Grovhaire or?
Well, my brother contacted me. We usually stay out of contact with each other to keep each other safe. This way, one of us can't tell where any of the others are if any of us get tracked down.
How did he manage to reach you in Ravenreach? I mean, we didn't even know we were going to be here.
Yeah, well, I think he used a spell. My brother's a bit magic-y. One of my siblings. One of my siblings. Yes, like Sparks. Exactly. I think. Something like that. I think he's I don't know, he plays with instruments.
Oh, he's like my brother then, a bard.
Yes, probably like your. I think he's a bard. I think that's what you call it. I don't know. I always called him a fairy, but that's just because he likes music so much and he likes to dance around.
Well, some
Anyway,
of the fairies will kill you with the music.
yeah, he'll kind of do that too, I think. Anyway, um, one of my siblings is dead. Another one of my siblings is dead. Which means that it just means more trouble for me, more trouble for my family. There's not a lot of us left. We come from a big family, but well, Mirth is my oldest living sibling now. Uh, if I show up with a sword, it means I'm the last one. I'm the youngest. The only other two left are Pride and Joy. I don't exactly know where Joy is. I've heard she's somewhere near the city here. And my brother said that he knows where Pride is. But well, the message I got just said that my brother's traveling inland, and he was asking me where I was and who I was with. And the only reason he would do that is if he's in some kind of trouble. He may need help. I don't know exactly what or why, but there's no other reason why he would ask me where I was and who I was with. We try to keep that stuff secret, even from each other. I let him.
As to whether. Go ahead.
I don't know if this was beyond my responsibility to share, but I told him I was with the Legion and where we were, that we planned to head to Grovhaire, and that an ancient dragon is on its way. I know you had said that the more people who could be prepared for it, the better. So I didn't think it would be out of line to spread the word a little further.
Yeah, brokers convinced me to hedge the bets a little since then, but that's more in regards to Grovhaire itself, I think.
I thought you should know.
Silver, I have a couple of questions. You mentioned before that you have sort of, well, you just said that it was a sword now, and all your brothers and sisters, that sword's been passing on, and all of you have been dying. Have all of you been dying?
Dying?
Like,
yes.
Well, or killed, and
we're being hunted. The Legion
yes,
saved me from the people who hunt my family.
I know, but it sounds to me like are you okay? Why is your family, especially your family, being haunted? How are they finding you? And what it sounded like, what you told me, is that they've been hunting you by age group, like one after the oldest, then goes on the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one.
I don't know.
Like, because I well, logically, like what I would think is that whatever magical item you guys have is being searched for or is cursed. Because if they've been able to find you, and the only thing that links to you is that you suddenly appear as a sword suddenly appears out of nowhere, and then this person is hunt down, and then again the
Maybe they
sword
have a way
disappears.
of finding the sword.
Exactly.
I don't know how to tell my brother that. He contacted me, but
Um.
you might be right. He may need to know. Maybe he'll
Yes,
come to
and
Grovhaire. Maybe we'll meet
yeah,
there.
maybe I don't want you to lose any more family. Hmm,
Neither do I.
yeah.
Incidentally, when he brings up the how they're tracking them sort of thing, I'm going to expend a charge of that. Would that actually trigger on a tiefling because of the fiend portion?
Um, good question. Divine sense.
Because that'd be my initial thought, considering palate.
Right. Um,
Apparently, tiefling is just humanoid.
yeah, I think it's just humanoid. I don't think they retain fiend as a part of what they are. So
Well,
probably not.
so at least that's one option removed. So good news.
Yeah, but I've heard of spells, right, that can home in on objects. Maybe it is how they're finding us.
I
And
actually know of such a spell, but it's rather limited in range. Let's see here. Yeah, it's only within 30 feet. And you have to have seen it first. At least the one I'm aware of.
if they've been hunting them, then they probably know about the sword, and so they could just have images of the sword. And if there's multiple people, because if you're telling me that they hunt you when we rescue you, but they also hunt your other siblings that are all over the place, they probably they could be like either several groups or a big organization.
We might want to run it by Lieutenant Inspector. His organization might be familiar with something along those lines.
That
Or
or also,
former organization.
yes, or also broker to see if he can find anything about something like that. And I'm going to ask a question, and I hope it's not. Um, I don't know how to ask it, and I don't want to offend you, Silver. So you told me that your mom is in the pit. So did she came from the pit originally, or
My mother was fiendish.
okay? So is she basically then in house arrest?
She would need to be resummoned here, which is very difficult to do.
But not impossible.
No, my brother tried. I hear he's in prison because of it.
I see.
Not because he tried, but because he impersonated someone to get the information he needed and got caught.
Ah, okay.
No, admit, I thought you had a different question entirely.
No, it's basically what, like, why and how. Um, can we contact her without having to summon her?
I have no idea.
And I look at Gatsby. Do you know anything like that?
Not off the top of my head, but Star might know a bit.
Probably. Well, we will. Silver. we will do anything that we can to try to protect you and your family and try to figure out what's going on. Because if there's so many questions that I have about what you just told us, like it's just hunting your family, specifically your family, or are they hunting other tieflings?
Oh, they're hunting whatever they don't like.
I see. So it's not you that needs protection, it's everyone that is different that needs protection, basically.
Yep.
Okay.
Anyone
So
that they think has an evil bloodline.
Oh,
that's
lovely. So even I'd be on the chopping block, I think.
Lower on the list, but I think so.
okay.
Mainly they
So
go after people like me. I've heard they go after sorcerers too.
uh, great. Okay, so this is something we have to keep in mind, just in case, because it sounds to me that there's a large organization and they can have fingers everywhere. So we will have to keep an eye on that in Grovhaire. And if we even have a hint of that type of organization being there, we need to take them out, because if anyone is going to be against us, they're probably going to have their support, just because the main captains and the commander of the legion are not human.
Yeah, that actually is a very good perk of having Star as the commander. So hopefully she gets back from what she's doing soon.
She's still an elf. We don't know how
Well,
tainted
elves tend to
they
be treated a bit better than orcs.
maybe, but like we cannot take that out
We,
because
if you think it's that important that we look out for these people, then we should probably all be on the lookout for them. And if anybody would know something, isn't Captain Broker the guy who would know things?
in theory, yes,
Sounds like a good bet.
yeah.
Um, so, well, I mean, if all you had to say was that you weren't human, I still want that drink
Sure, of
back at
course.
the party.
Sure, we need to. Yes, we need to go. Unless there's something else you want to talk about, yes.
Nothing comes to mind except Gas will just kind of get close enough to whisper under his breath. Fraternization between captains is permitted. Just kind of looking meaningfully at Silver and kind of having picked up that maybe there's a bit of interest there. And with the explicit thing with like wanting to make her blush, sort of.
Commander.
No, like, but so that's he wouldn't have heard.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So
Understood.
I didn't hear that,
No,
or
no,
did
he whispered it
It
to
was two
you,
sparks.
not to me.
Yeah, that was whispered two sparks to kind of get her to blush.
Oh, she I blushed completely, completely blushed. What? What? No, what? Ah, yes. What?
Just getting your
I
mind off the more serious stuff. Pats her on the shoulder, and I think now we should probably get back to the.
Silver looks a little lost.
I
Oh.
I I I avoid eye contact with Silver. I just pass by him. Okay, it's time to go. Yes, drink. You guys need drinks. I need to probably throw myself into the sea. Um,
I am not laughing
Eh,
in character.
well, just make sure you don't sneeze when you fall in.
Oh my. And
Guess is absolutely going to be making light of that when it's appropriate anyway.
we'll we'll take a quick break here, and when we come back, we will have returned to the Devil's Spade. Be right back. Alright, we are back. Sorry for the delay. The rest of us return to the ship. And after some revelry that takes up a good chunk of the day, and probably a good chunk of the night, there's eating to be had and games to be played, drinking to be done, and shore leave to continue, at least for that time. The men are happy to have an excuse to celebrate, considering all of the danger that they've been dealing with for so much time. That night goes quietly, and the next morning, early as Gaz, as early as you're awake, Captain Card comes to you. As acting commander, what exactly are your intentions? We have been in port for 3 days, which I believe you said originally was what you had in mind. I have concluded my business here, and am eager to get underway. I am willing to take you all to Grovhaire if that is what you are in need of, but I am curious as to what you plan to do.
Well, first order of business once we get to Grovhaire is making sure everyone gets paid. And if that means taking some of the merchant families by the nose, I'll do it.
Yes, but I mean, with Commander Starr not being here, do you intend to leave in spite of that?
We'll definitely wait for her return. I don't exactly... If she feels I'm fit to be commander over her, so be it, but I prefer her as commander, I'll admit. She has a better tactical sense, I think.
Card nods.
Plus, the hair on the back of my neck bristles every time I'm called commander. I don't want to get used to that too soon.
Card smiles. Well, I am not sure how long I can wait until she returns. I can wait out the rest of the week if need be. But I would prefer to leave as soon as I can. Are you all going to travel? Do you have a plan? Are you just keeping a holding pattern?
I think it's probably a good time to call an officers' meeting for that one.
That is between you and your captains, I guess. You let me know how the Devil's Spade can be at your service.
At the very least, I figure you can go ahead with some of our members.
Understood. Well,
but as you said, that's for me and the captains to discuss.
That is true. My asking price is not steep, for I am already planning to travel to Grovhaire. I have been given a shipment by the Umberglows of potions for a merchant that they know in the city there. So it will be lucrative for me to travel.
And so I'll have to thank Sparks for some quick thinking on her part.
Yes, she is quite the merchant. Quite the saleswoman. She showed me around Ravenreach the other day. She knows the city fairly well. But I must say, It is a pity that she is part of the Legion, for she would make a excellent addition to my crew. A woman who can haggle like that.
Well, I can always talk to her about when she retired. Though I'd imagine she would go more with her parents' shop.
Yeah, he strokes his beard and kind of twists one of his waxed mustaches. It is something I
But that
wonder
would be an important contact in a city.
very much, very much. It would be something I would be pleased to discuss with her again. In any event, you may use my quarters if you need to call an officers' meeting. I have it. You know I have the table there. It is at your disposal. I have some more business in the city for today. I wanted to catch you before I was off.
My thanks.
Of course. Please, if you come to a decision with your captains, I would love to know by sunset today when I return. But again, I will give you the week if you'll need it. I pray you don't. He puts a hand out to shake if you would accept it, and then heads off the ship.
Yeah, I shake his hand.
Okay.
And then go around to fetch the officers.
Which officers are you bringing into the meeting?
The captains definitely, and I'm thinking lieutenants as well.
Okay.
The more voices that can be heard, the better.
Okay. Let's see. You have 300 men. How many lieutenants would be surviving? You've just promoted. You had Silver, and you have Trix, which is one of Broker's, or not Broker, Whistler's lieutenants. Those are the ones we've established, as well as Cash. So that's
Trix definitely would have gotten the promotion to Whistler's position, I think.
Okay, so Trix is a captain as well now.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have.
Seems like you might have too many captains for the amount of people
you
that
have
you have.
Very few men, and I think that's one of the things that will be brought up. You have 300 men, and so I don't know that you need how many. You'll call the You call the meeting. You gather Broker, Sparks, Silver, Lukash. You would also gather Trix, whether you've promoted him or not. Trix is the lieutenant, so you would gather him. The number of lieutenants that you probably have left, looking at things, typically you would have like a lieutenant for every 100 men, approximately. So for every 60 to 100 men. So even if you had a lieutenant for every 60, you're still looking at 5 lieutenants at most right now. And you just promoted Silver, so it would be Silver, Trix, Lukash, and maybe 2 others that would be in the meeting with you, as well as the captains that you currently have. They all kind of gather wherever you determine they should gather.
Let's go up at the helm, I think.
Okay.
Kind of an open air meeting. I've called you together because we have to figure out exactly what our course of action from here on is going to. Because the good captain wants to leave for Grovhaire by week's end, preferably by the end of today. I, for one, don't exactly want to leave Star behind, and I don't intend to if possible. So, what options are you all able to?
Well, where is she?
She's been rather tight-lipped on that, but she will be returning. It's just I'm not sure.
Trix says, if I may, she handed me her sword and said that she needed to go. She said to give it to you, and that you were acting commander until her return. That's the only thing she said. And then she was just gone.
Which makes it
Commander.
sound as though she does plan to return.
Yes, Commander, but we are on a time crunch here. She said she hinted that she's planning to return, but like when? We cannot spend more time here. We don't have the resources to spend more time here, and every moment that passes, more people can know about us in Grovhaire, and I want to have a lay of the land before they knowing anything about us. They already been see this as a planned battle. They've been ruling over the battlefield for 10 years. We need information, and we need it sooner rather than later.
Broker, I assume you agree with her assessment?
Yeah. Looks to me like if Star plans on coming back, then I'm pretty sure she'll find a way to catch up with us.
Commander, Silver says, I think we have officer posts that need to be filled as well. That needs to be addressed at some point. We, as of right now, you're a captain, the acting commander, and the quartermaster. Who has the chronicle?
Do you want to have the chronicle?
Was it?
No.
What's the Chronicle? What is that?
Basically, the chronicle is taking notes of all our meetings and having the lay of the land and basically pouring over maps, and it's what. Yes.
Silver says the chronicle is the history of the Legion. Every commander has they themselves or they appoint a chronicler to tell the stories of those who have fallen, of those who have left, of those who have joined, the battles we fight, our entire history. Did Star have it?
I don't think she had the time to.
Was it on the command? Well, we retrieved the commander's body, so where did it go from there?
Yeah, but who was the? I'm trying to remember if somebody, because Star was the lieutenant commander, but I don't know that there was a chronicler per se, unless it was.
Whistler was the cartographer.
Whistler was the cartographer. Yes.
So
I don't think anybody took the cartographer post, so it would have probably just been the commander. And yes, somebody would have the chronicle.
Maybe broker, since that would fold over into the
spy master role.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I have been keeping notes here and there.
And you definitely have a mind and an eye for such matters.
Who's lieutenant commander, and who's acting lieutenant commander? I don't mean to speak out of turn, but we've just.
These are all questions we've been putting off.
Gas, I know you don't like it, but we have to at least for the foreseeable future, think of you not as an acting commander, but as commander. We don't know how. I if the dragon is coming, she could send more assassins. We are going now to a battlefield that is going to be fought between politics, economics, and the hearts of the people. We need to have a strong idea what we are going to do, how we're going to do it, and who we are. I think that until she returns, you are the commander, not acting commander. So point a lieutenant.
Point well made, Sparks. In which case, I'll try and find a ship that will be leaving by the end of the week and secure passage for Star on that ship. I'll leave word of our departure with your parents. Spark. That should be an easy connection that Star, and she can join us when she's able.
Can I make a suggestion? A slight alteration to that.
Of course, that's why I called the meeting.
So instead of securing her passage on a ship that you don't know she's going to be able to make or get to in time, maybe just leave the amount of money that she would need to get to us with Spark's parents. And then that way she can purchase.
That is a far more sensible suggestion. Thank you, broker.
That was
Spectre.
Nope.
Oh, Spectre, sorry. Out of character, your voices are similar. Anyway.
Sorry, go ahead. Continue.
No, go. I was pointing out that Spectre had a very good idea there. Alright, so... yeah. So, should we leave tomorrow or tonight or first thing in the morning? I suppose that would depend on Captain Card, wouldn't it?
Captain Card is going to do as we ask. Because he's going to be paid, so that's not an issue. The issue right now is how are we all going to go? How can I say this?
Well, what time is it now?
It's early
It's
in the
morning.
Broker, how easy or how can we have a spy network? How easy will be for us to arrive and start doing a spy network with?
Is that a question that can be answered before we get there?
Well, he used to live in Grovhaire. I'm wondering, do you have still contacts there? It's possible that we will be able to have support from the people, and especially now that some of our own forces are going to return to being just regular people, we can still have their support as civilians and probably their families. But what I would like to have is a spy network available as soon as possible. So I'm just wondering, how long will that take you?
Well, and I mean, again, broker, let me know if I'm speaking out of turn, but 10 years is a long time. Some of those contacts are not going to be there anymore, and some of them aren't going to be your contacts anymore, even if they are there.
Yeah,
I feel like
right.
that's a question to be answered upon arrival to the city when you can see what the lay of the land actually is. Right now, what we're trying to decide is how soon are we leaving here, and I don't know if the spy network is pertinent to that conversation. No offense.
Right.
Well, I understand what Sparks is getting at, though, because going in blind is going to be dangerous. Or potentially dangerous, anyway.
Yes.
The problem is, how do we send anyone in advance when it takes how long to get to Grovhaire from here?
I believe that he had said it would take under a week, like 5 days.
Yeah, so if it takes 5 days to get there, I don't think, what can someone do and say, say we send them now and the rest of us leave at the end of the week. That only gives them about 3 or 4. Yeah, that only gives them 3 or 4 days to do anything.
And still, we wouldn't hear from them until we got into the city.
Right. So it might actually be better to just land in en masse.
Okay, you're good.
So,
you're right.
How many? I'm not sure what I should say as a newer captain. What I should bring to the table. But we have a limited number of men now. 300 is a lot to bring into a city, but 300 is not what our standing forces once were. And there still could be thousands out in the desert that we never found or that we left behind. What? There's lots of suppositions that we can make, right? Like, what do we do if we get to the city and it's like this, or what do we do if we get to the city and it's like that? Like, Spectre's right. Whatever we find is what we're gonna have to deal with. But what do we do with what we have at our disposal now? We can't go around with 5 wings made up of anywhere from 100 and something to 50 people in each, with the wings varying so wildly. We should probably consolidate our chain of command and have some kind of structure for the men. A lot of them don't even have sergeants or lieutenants or know who their captain is anymore. We need to figure out how to lead them at this point. What Sparks said was right, like about you having to, I hate to say it, but we can't just wait for command to fall into somebody's hands or what are we doing here? What are they want to know? They need to know. I mean, shore leave is great, and being away from all the chaos that we've been in and all the danger that we've been in for the last 10 years is great. But if we're still the Phoenix Legion, who are we, as Sparks said? What do we do with our troops? Who's in command? Who's our cartographer? Do we have a chaplain? Who's the chronicler? Oh, who's the lieutenant commander? When we get to the city, where do we go first? What do we do first? We don't even know what it's like anymore. I feel like I'm asking too many questions. I don't have any answers for because I'm new at this, but
well, so am I, and I don't have easy answers either. As for Lieutenant Commander, I suppose I would count as that when stars are around, so in her absence, bro. Are you willing to be Lieutenant Commander?
Me?
Well, you're doing half of the law keeping it already.
Sure. Got nothing to lose.
I suppose I can pick up duties as chaplain. Although, well, I'll try and make it somewhat non-denominational, since I believe in the rather forgotten. But beyond that, I would say once we get to the city, we'll get the lay of the land, we'll get all the pay that we're due, even if I have to drag the nose of a few of the merchant families out, because that is a duty I will not abandon.
Commander, if we are going in hot, may I propose that we arrive and parade through the central street of the city straight to the court and to the throne,
That sounds like a
and
very good idea.
and wait there until everyone who is someone come and meet us, because we serve the throne and the crown. So we should be where the throne and the crown is.
Which would also serve a nice little purpose of masking just how much we're aware of already.
Exactly.
Very shrewd, Sparks. So, I would suggest we leave here tomorrow morning. Just, well, when Captain Card is comfortable with it, because I can't imagine sailing out to sea while it's dark is a great idea. But that would afford one more day for Star, one more day for a shore leave in a city that the men have come to know already.
What about the consolidation of the wings and naming other lieutenants and such?
Do we need
We
other
can do-
lieutenants right now?
Well, we can do that while we're waiting the day. So basically, our men are getting the day off. We're going to be harder. Because I think the Children of the Rhino can be practically disbanded. Well, can be folded into another of the legions at this, or another of the
wings.
Of the wings at this point.
Well, you have 300 men. You have 5 wings. What do you want to do? These are approximates too. They're not. It's not exactly 300 men. You know what I mean? Like they're approximations.
How many people? How many people normally go to a wing, sir?
A wing
A
typically
1,000?
consists of between.
I read the
six,
thing.
yes,
I'm asking.
Yeah.
Spectre's asking gas.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Somewhere in the high hundreds, low thousands.
Okay, well that's obviously not an option anymore. We have what, about 300 people left?
So I'm thinking 5 wings could still work reasonably well.
If you want my opinion.
Well, you're a captain, so feel free.
I say if we got 5 wings, just put 60 people in each. Well, as close to 60 as possible.
Yeah, name a person to captain each of them, and then cut out the middleman of lieutenant, because we don't really need that right now. Not to talk myself out of a job, but
Temporary demotion, then. Key word being temporary. Hopefully, once we get to Grovhaire, we'll be able to
we have
recruit him.
Commander, traditionally you don't lead a wing. So that would mean that we have me, Broker, and Sparks. If we're going to keep 5 wings, we're going to have to actually give temporary promotions to at least 2 of the current lieutenants.
Well, God. Spectre, as well as you fight, you're too new to the Legion to be able to get that temporary promotion. So it will be Trix and one of the other NPCs.
There were 2 other NPC lieutenants. Just give one a name. Aegis. Okay.
no offense, but I didn't sign on to be a grunt. That's not really what I'm here for. If you can't find a use for my skills, that's fine.
You already skipped up to lieutenant.
I didn't skip up to anything. You guys don't have lieutenants. You don't have enough people.
Aegis, Aegis says...
Oh, yeah, the lieutenants are getting demoted, aren't they? Sorry.
Yeah. Aegis says... with all due respect, Commander, I don't think I'm the type of person who could be a captain. I'd prefer not to be.
Fair enough. The inspector seems you get your wish.
He'll just kind of nod his head. It's like a very slight incline of his head, but he doesn't look pleased.
Out of character, his reasoning was entirely newness to the league.
Sure.
Like, how many feathers would that ruffle?
Absolutely. And I
understand. I understand the out of character thing, but it's also like in character. It's like a named NPC, and then we'll just make up another NPC rather than giving.
And I think that's why it just makes sense. Again, out of character as the dungeon master. Like, I knew that if you named a random NPC to be the other captain, that they would bow out. So, like, yeah. It just makes sense. Like, both what happened I think what happened in character exactly makes sense. So Aegis is doesn't feel he has what it takes to be a captain, and he kind of, doesn't accept the promotion, politely declines the promotion, and so yeah. We have no lieutenants. We have 5 captains. We have 5 wings that are actually the size of pinions at the moment. Our lieutenants, I guess, will get bumped down to sergeants. And that establishes a chain of command, at least. And, and we have a trajectory, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Silver asks again, do we know where the Chronicle is?
Well, presumably Sparks would have left it on board. Or Sparks, Star.
Right.
I'm assuming Gaz would have seen it before?
Yes. Oh, yeah, it's a big book. It's not small.
There we go.
All right. Yeah, you use locate object to find it. It's yeah, you find you get hold of the Chronicle. So out of character, I'll ask as the dungeon master. Let me bring up the officers' posts. Okay, so Broker is currently Lieutenant Commander and the Spy Master, correct?
And Cartographer.
Cartographer? Okay, and Cartographer. You are Quartermaster and Chaplain?
And Commander.
And Commander. And Sparks is Arcanist.
Yes.
Okay. There's still... If you would like... Silver will volunteer to take over cartography duties. And you would still... you could maybe pass off Quartermaster or Chronicler to the other 2 captains, right? You still have Um,
Uh,
you still have Lukash, and you still have Trix, who could take one of those positions as well.
If I had my pick, I'd probably choose quartermaster of the two of those.
Well, the irony being that quartermaster is based on their skill is based on a persuasion. So how are you with persuasion?
I don't know.
There are actually there are for the officer posts within the Legion, there are abilities that come with it. There's like a
Gotcha.
feature, kind of like a background feature, right? There's an officer feature. So I guess going over those one more time would be good at this point. The lieutenant commander, they can, at the start of combat, after initiative is rolled, they can swap the roles of two party members in the initiative order at the start of a combat. The cartographer, they essentially each one also has like a responsibility. So the lieutenant commander's responsibility would be maintaining the troop count and figuring out how many officers you have, and kind of keeping track of those notes, right? Or at least communicating that with me communicating with me about that as necessary. The cartographer would be responsible for keeping tabs of like places you've been, and information on those kind of places. And then their feature is they can make a survival roll when you're taking a long overland trek, and if they succeed, they can basically take narrative control of overland travel and describe how they successfully guide the party from one location to another without complication if they succeed on the survival roll. The quartermaster. What's that?
I have a really high survival. I don't have a good persuasion, but I do have a really good survival.
Okay.
I have a good persuasion if it's needed, if I need to take the quartermaster.
Right. The quartermaster would be keeping tap of the treasury and any items that belong to the Legion as a whole, not necessarily party items, or not necessarily individual items, but party items, right? Not party gold, but the treasury itself. And they can use, they can essentially use persuasion to buy equipment for the Legion at lower cost, for the entire Legion, like in bulk. And they can also requisition items as needed once you're in a position where you can start doing that.
I don't see the other one that you mentioned, not Arcanus, but the
they're not all in there, because the only ones that were on the notes there were the ones that were actually taken. So here, let me throw them into our Discord chat. This way, instead of me reading through each one, I can just have it here. There. So as Lieutenant Commander, they get to switch initiative orders. The Cartographer, they get to give opportunities to avoid like random encounters on the road. The Quartermaster can get mundane items for the entire Legion at a discount. Or they can requisition bigger items, essentially, like mounts or vehicles or things like that. The Arcanist is what Sparks is currently. They have to do with like consumable magic items. Spymaster is responsible for keeping information on people and factions, which Broker does a really good job at, honestly. And then the Chronicler keeps session notes, essentially, and kind of tracks that stuff, and can basically get information from the Chronicle itself. And the Chaplain gives morale bonuses. So yeah.
The only one of those that I see being even remotely compatible with my skill set is cartographer.
Okay.
Because
I would-
Lukesh is not like a sneaky or smart dude.
Or charismatic.
Yeah, and
He's a little charismatic, but I didn't invest very many points in it. Like he's got a +2 to charisma, but he's just not trained in any of those skills. So.
Right. And I came up with these kind of as options for the players that I had when the Legion was first made, right? So I might think of other officer positions that might make sense as well, and kind of throw those out there later. But those are what we have for now. So yeah. And being that you're a captain now, you know, it's probably a good idea for you to have a nice little special feature. Let me see what I... So out of character as the Dungeon Master, you guys can figure out officer roles for all of your captains. And you plan to leave the next morning? Is that the plan?
Yeah. Give Star effectively a day.
Okay.
Lukash, did you still want cartographer?
It's I mean, like it is the only one that I think
Fits.
Then it's all yours.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, because everything else, I think I would more often than not fail those roles, like investigation roles and stuff like that. Absolutely not. That's a bad idea.
Out of game 2, I'm still writing notes, so if you guys just need anything, just let me know.
Okay.
Is there anything else that needs to be covered during this meeting? Any questions that have gone unanswered?
Oh, yeah, Sparks, do you still have some of the notes that that Spectre brought us?
Yes, I have them. Um,
Can I
here you
look at
go.
them?
Of course. Can we exchange? Because you had one and I had the other one. Can we exchange?
Well, I haven't had a chance to read them. I was saying after this meeting, I'd go and read them myself first.
Okay. Yeah, sure. No problem.
Yeah, but once I'm done, you'll be the first person I give them to.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
All right. Are we done here, Captain?
It seems like it. Although, actually, one more matter that we should probably address beforehand. In regards to the existence of the Blue Dragon, how are we going to be handling that information once we get to Grovhaire?
If you want my opinion, I would keep that under wraps for now.
I agree.
I figured let's wait and see what we're dealing with.
Especially because they could just accuse us of being stark raving mad.
Exactly.
True.
It might
All right.
be a good idea to establish ourselves before we start ranting about inevitable doom.
Yeah, good call. In which case, yeah, we'll get word spread among the crew on the week-long trip over.
The what other things did all of you want to accomplish before you set sail the next day?
I want to go back and talk to Scola, as well as read up on the books that Spectre got for us.
Okay. Lukash, did you have things you wanted to do in the city before you say goodbye to Ravenreach?
No, I think he wrapped up his stuff a couple days ago. He's just kind of ready to go.
Okay. Sparks, did you have anything you'd like to do in the city before the ship sets sail?
out of character, did I talk to my mother and started working on the stuff?
I will say yes. I will say that uh give me I do need from you. Do you have you don't have proficiency with Tinker's tools, do you? Or
Nope.
proficiency with Smith's tools?
Nope. Alchemists.
Alchemist tools. Okay. Uh
But I'm figuring that whatever she puts there, it could be from an alchemical perspective.
Sure. The only thing would be to change your sword. You would need the help of either someone with Tinker's tools or with a Smith's tools proficiency to help you change your sword. Um,
Okay.
does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. You have a formula for sending stones, and you have the formula for the changing your blade. Okay. I will send you those formulas once I have them written out, and that will tell you everything you need as far as what types of rolls you need to make, how long it will take you to make it, what the cost for materials will be, and any materials that you will need to find. Uh,
Okay.
okay. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. Um, please, you're good about it, but please send me a message reminding me that you need those formulas. And I have it down in my notes as well.
Okay.
You also have the pipes of the sewers that you
Yes,
had been
that
given.
yes, and you I already rested. I need to know.
Yes, they're called the pipes of the sewers, and I will throw that information in here for you. And you know, I'll just send you a link for what the pipes of the sewers do.
Okay.
In that case, Spark's parents also provide the Legion with a potion of greater healing for each of you, for each of the captains, um, to take with them.
Sweet.
They tell you that they would do more, but with the condition of the shop, they don't have a lot available to them immediately. Um, but that they have access to they'll have access to whatever they have as the store gets replenished. Um, Broker, you go to talk to Skola. Also, Gaz, did you have anything else you need to do in the city as well?
Well, he probably spent most of the day getting all the actual work done on the ship, and then once the sun sets, he'd probably go to the Whiskered Mistress, right?
Yep.
Yeah, he'd go there and try his hand. Well, see how the madam, I guess, how she and the guy with the crossbow are doing, and try and brighten things up.
Sure.
Keyword being try.
Yeah. And what about what's going on with your prisoner? What's the plan for your prisoner? And
Well, he'd probably be going down into the hold with him and trying to cajole him into, at least wanting peace between, not wanting to be aggressive. Like, I'd understand if he doesn't want to join up with the Legion or something, but at least, be peaceful.
okay.
Who's the prisoner?
Oh,
Agronak.
right.
He's an Orcish war chief that we managed to capture.
Oh.
You may want to role play out that
Yeah.
kind of information between Gaz and Lukash and Trix as new officers.
Oh, yeah, actually, yeah, may as well bring them down into the hold.
I don't know if Lukash has met Urog either.
I haven't met that many people.
Alright, so we'll head down into the hold.
Okay.
Wow,
And
what are we going down for?
do I have a picture? And see you next to your token?
In the hold, you go down into the hold, and it's dark, but with your dark vision, your eyes don't take long to adjust. There, down in the hold, is a huge wolf, a different than a wolf, but similar. She sits watching a beam at the very back of the ship with great intent. And Gaz, as soon as you go down into the hull, she immediately sniffs the air and turns and happily kind of bounds about just slightly. Not out of control, just that one little hop that she is happy to see you back. And she says to you in common, "The prisoner is still well."
They're
Lukash,
remembering the right gender.
Lukash looks flabbergasted that a wolf just talked.
Oh, Spectre, meet Ura, my warg.
Hey, it's nice to meet you.
Urag bows her head slightly.
Lukash, not really knowing what to do, will like hold out his hand so that she can sniff it.
She'd shake.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Urag shakes. Her paw is probably bigger than your hand. I mean,
Lukash is pretty big, but that's a big paw. He'll take the hand and shake it.
Yeah, the warg is the size of a horse. So
Gotcha. That's a big boy.
yeah.
Gal.
Yeah, but it's a dog, so big boy.
And she moves slightly out of the way to give you a view of Agranak, who remains chained to one of the support beams of the cargo hold. He sits there with his eyes closed, his legs crossed, and his head leaned back against the support beam.
And this is Agranak.
He opens one eye. "You brought another half-breed to meet me?"
A new captain in the Legion. A couple of them. Actually, what race is
Trix?
Trix?
I thought
Yeah.
I said half-elf last time. I don't know. I'll have to go back and double check.
It's been a while.
Lukash looks incredibly suspicious about what's going on. He's kind of giving Gaz the side eye. I'm looking at this guy like, why am I here?
We managed to take him captive when they raided our camp with Thundermaw and the Thundermaw swooping down to finish. And it was either leave him there to continue leading the horde or bring.
You could have killed him.
Well, he's actually proven rather reasonable.
I am a willing captive. My god will rescue me.
Huh.
Gaz will lean over to Lukash or Spectre and just mention Thundermaw is their god.
Yeah, I gathered that. Okay. Why do you think your god is coming here?
He opens his eyes and looks at you. These fools have spit in her eye. She will come to avenge herself. My rescue will be merely my boon in the face of her vengeance.
Well, to point out, I'm pretty sure that we spat in her eye just by knowing of her existence.
Okay. Lukash kind of like folds his arms over his chest, and he's just studying the prisoner and Gaz quite closely, kind of flicking his eyes back and forth between the two.
I'm trying to convince him that as long as she's not a threat to us, I don't think we wouldn't consider her a threat. Key word being that, well, she'd have to be the one willing to make peace first. Otherwise, we are going to rise up and stand against her.
And you will die.
Well, managed to escape death the once.
That was my mistake.
How was it your mistake?
I let you go.
Yeah. Oh, twice. I was referring solely to the second one where Star managed to overgrow the ravine they were charging at us from. Slowed them down immensely, so we were able to get out safe.
Your witch's tricks. She is powerful. But even she will fall before the blue goddess.
I would greatly appreciate if you didn't call Star a... Okay?
I am your prisoner. I guess I can refrain.
My appreciation.
You are weak. Half-breed.
And yet we managed to take you down.
Your human half. It makes you care about things that you should not.
And I find strength in those things.
He looks directly at Lukash. Are you the same?
Lukash is not going to respond. He'll hold his eye contact, but he's not going to say anything.
You are stronger.
Lukash is going to snort kind of in like a, oh, please, sort of a way, and he's just going to turn around and walk away.
What's Trix's reaction to all this?
Trix is just, Trix is kind of has stood behind the two of you and has been scratching behind Urag's ear this whole time.
Nice.
He's met the prisoner before. At least he's seen the prisoner before and seems to have no desire to interact with the war chief in any regard. So he has purposely positioned himself in a spot where he doesn't have to.
Actually, Trix, you willing to take Urag out of the city and just, let her chase rabbits or something? She's been cooped up a little bit.
He shrugged, sure. As you wish, Commander.
Not as commander, just as colleague. I wouldn't exactly want to order someone to do something so trivial. Especially when you should be enjoying shore leave.
He pats Urag on the head and says, I would not consider this trivial, Commander.
Urag pipes up with a quick thank you. And a bit of a glare at Gaz for calling her enjoyment trivial.
Broker, what did you want to talk to Skola about?
I wanted to see if how exactly she got that information.
Okay. That might be important to have a conversation about. Um, she isn't an easy woman to get an appointment with, uh, but she does make time for you. It takes a little bit, but you get to see her that day between shows. She is an actress after all. Uh, she meets you in her dressing room at Poe Alley Theater. What can I help you with, Mr. Broker?
Well, a couple things that have been bugging me.
All right.
How exactly did you get your information about Grovhaire?
Some of it's common knowledge. Some of it I pick up here in the city as people pass through. Sometimes I have business dealings in Grovhaire, and I pick up what I can when I go there, or when one of my staff does.
Who do you have business with?
Oh, other artists, other actors, the theater there. Lots of people take time to go to the theater. You can pick things up if you listen carefully. As far as the houses and what they are in charge of, or their centers of power, that is easily obtained knowledge. They don't hide those things. They want people to know that they have power. They want people to know what their titles are. It's not difficult to find that out.
Or why?
You've never been a noble house, have you?
Not really.
What is your rank, child?
As of about, I'd say about 30 minutes ago, I'd say I'm Lieutenant Commander.
Well, Lieutenant Commander Broker. Why did you just tell me your rank?
That's a good question.
How would your men know who to defer to if they didn't know what power you held? Your rank gives you authority, doesn't it? Being a lord of a great house, being a lord of not only a great house, but also a important member of a king's council, and what you are minister of within that council, those titles are important. People defer to you when it comes to your speciality. And why would not House Weston, Lord Minister of the Admiralty, why would people not know that the Minister of the Admiralty would be in charge of naval shipyards or the Naval Academy? I mean, that would make a lot of sense that they would be, would it not? These are not things that are hard to ferret out. They are commonplace things, things everyone knows. Now, if you want to know the secrets, That's a bit harder to do, and not something I can easily come by. I don't have ears in Grovhaire. I just know where to listen when I do have them, or when they're here. I'm sure that you're asking these types of questions for a reason. Are you looking to find out more? Or are you looking to figure out how I found out what I did so that you can do something similar?
A little bit of both.
Hmm.
Tell me, what do you use the information for?
Business.
Really?
Of course. Every piece of information is useful for business. Some of it has value in and of itself. It can generate its own income. That type of information is very, very costly. Some things allow you to know who to talk to about what, whose hand to put the gold in order to get what you need done. Sometimes I have a very inexperienced lieutenant commander show up in my dressing room and asking questions that he needs the answers to. And sometimes an old actress is able to sell some of that information to such a naive young lieutenant commander. Or sometimes she's able to tutor him. Like now.
Looks like I'm gonna need to learn a few things before I go to Grovhaire. So,
You are used to information on a battlefield and ferreting out things about your enemies. This will be much more dangerous, much more subtle. That so has a question behind it, doesn't it? Well, ask it.
what?
You said so. If there's a question that follows that word, feel free to ask.
So what do I have to learn?
Ah. More than I can teach you in an afternoon, I'm afraid. You'll need to learn what the right questions to ask are, and who to ask them. You'll need to know how to find out information without asking questions. You'll need people. You'll need money. You'll need contacts. You'll need the type of people who no one pays attention to. No one pays attention to mice. Little ears everywhere, Mr. Broker. I'm sorry, Lieutenant Commander Broker. You listen well. That will serve you. Get others who listen well. Little mice to sit in corners.
You said you needed ears. In Grovhaire?
I would never turn down an offer of sharing information if that's what you're implying. Some of my boys went with you, didn't they? signed up with the Legion. Off to adventure and to travel the world.
I did.
Maybe I already have ears in Grovhaire then. She smiles cunningly.
I just kind of laugh. You are clever.
I do my best. If you need a contact here in Ravenreach to keep one's nose to the ground, you write me. I'm sure we can come up with an arrangement.
I'll keep that in mind. You can count on that.
Oh, I'm sure you will. If you don't mind, Mr. Broker, I'm sorry, Lieutenant Commander Broker. I do have lines to rehearse. If you'll excuse me.
Grixis.
Grixis?
Call me Grixis.
Very well. Well then. A secret for a secret. And she smiles and pats you on the cheek as she walks out of her own dressing room. And as you... The implication is that you probably shouldn't stay. As you turn to follow, you notice that for a moment she has a tail peeking out from beneath her dress, and then it's gone. The next day, you all set sail. The seas are calm, and you watch as Ravenreach fades into the distance behind you. The wind is favorable, and Captain Card laughs as you leap the first of many waves.
Just to point out, I think Sparks wanted to go to Thandris Cathedral.
Oh, did you, Sparks? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, well, Sparks is going to go to Sandra's Cathedral.
I see that.
before-
I'm so sorry. I missed the typing in chat. I see it now. I apologize.
Oh, don't worry. She is just going to go there and basically thank her first for not dying, second for keeping her parents out of her realm, and then giving thanks for receiving all those who were part of the Legion and are now in her realm, and will start saying the names of everyone who lost their lives under her command.
You get a sense of peace about those who served you as you offer their names to the Requiem, the goddess of the dead. And you know, deep in your heart, that they have been ushered in to the afterlife by her guiding light, by her lamp.
And what was Spectre doing during this? Or for the last day, I mean?
Yeah, Lukash, what did you have? Would you just be getting to know the men, or what? You said that you were finished up with your work in with anything you needed to do in Ravenreach, right?
Yeah, he would probably do a dead drop somewhere with just the numbers of the people from the Legion that were staying behind. I know there wasn't a ton of them, but
Okay.
just kind of like free agents that are going to be roaming around the city.
Sure.
Yeah, I think he's just done with Ravenreach. He's ready to go. So
Yeah.
he's going to kind of settle into his duties of cartography and that kind of thing. He would at some point want to have a little conversation with Gaz about whatever that was in the brig.
Sure.
But that doesn't have to be this one if you're trying to wrap it up.
You guys are sailing, so yeah, the ship, like I said, the ship is sailing off at sea. Captain Card laughs into the wind, and perhaps as you all look over from different places as Ravenreach kind of falls behind in the distance, perhaps Spectre, that gives you an opportunity to approach Gaz as he stands by the rail, and ask him about that.
You got a minute? And there's a little bit of a pause. And then he goes, "Sir?"
Pretty sure I've got a lot of minutes at this point.
Do I call you sir, or what's the thing? What are we doing here?
Gaz is fine for now. Well, actually, I suppose Commander would be better, just to get me used to it.
Probably a good idea. Why did you take me down to see that man?
Well, all the officers are aware that we have him prisoner. So it seemed only fitting as part of being inducted as an officer.
Yeah, but you could have just told me about him. Why did you want me to see him?
Well, I'm hoping to be able to reform him. So the more people that are involved in that reformation, the better, but up to you as to whether you... That's kind of a personal project more than...
Reform him how?
Well, at the very least, not wanting to actively kill people that he's got his stance against. And ideally, we may even be able to send him back as kind of a liaison to the dragon and try and convince her to, just let sleeping dogs. She doesn't give us fuss, we won't give her fuss.
Based on what you know of his culture and religion, do you think that that's a likely outcome?
I have to make the attempt. And he's an honorable sword, it's just that, yeah, we came into conflict.
How?
Well, he was the war chief of the opposing orcish horde, but at the same time, would they have been aggressive if we hadn't been intruding on their territory?
I will remind you that the reason the Legion was out in the desert is because the orc hordes had united and attacked Ordan and invaded Ordan, and you've found out through him that they did that at the command of Thundermaw.
Where is Ordan on the map, actually?
Ordan is everything that's not the desert.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Everything that is south and east of the mountain chains.
Okay, so yeah, kind of nix that last. But didn't think I'd have to go over the story twice in one day.
It's okay, I don't need to know all the details now.
Well, I'll give you the broad strokes anyway. The goddess I serve, I've actually spoken to.
Okay.
And The task I've got is to try and bring peace between orcs and humans, which is, just suffice to say, not a small. And I suppose the key word there is being tried. So I feel kind of obliged to, and aside from that, if I can convince a war chief that he was wrong and that we should try, well, that'd be a huge step.
Can I make something clear to you right off the bat?
Speak freely.
I'm not here to be a bridge between two people. I may be half orc, half human, but that doesn't mean I'm interested in bridging the gap.
Yep.
I have half their blood in me, but I've never known any of them, and I don't intend to know any of them any better than I do now.
Fair enough. You asked why I took you down there, and like I said, it's a personal project more than, like, it's not a command, go down there and speak to him.
I'm glad. May I be dismissed?
Feel free.
And Lukash will walk off.
Okay.
Spits over the side of the railing on his way.
Nice. As you have 5 days at sea. 5 days to contemplate what awaits you in Grovhaire. 5 days to chat with prisoners or ignore them. 5 days to get to know your new men. 5 days to ponder. To prepare. You each kind of think about these things at different points. Thinking about a new city that you've never seen for some of you. Thinking about a throne that you've sworn fealty to that is empty. Thinking about a purpose that was undermined by sending you out to that desert. Some of you have no connection to the city you're headed to, beyond the fact that you've sworn an oath to protect it. You wonder what waits, what's in store. We'll end it with that question in mind of how does a group of captains that have barely a connection to a city they're sworn to protect, what are they supposed to do when they get there? How are they supposed to find out how the monarch died? What awaits you? And we'll come back to those questions next week. I hope you all had fun. I hope that those of you watching had fun watching. Yeah, have a good night, everyone.
Night.
Good night.